Welcome to the For Your Speculation Zoom edition. Here we are again, talking about the Oscars. With me, as always, is Rachel.
Hey, everybody.
Erik.
Howdy.
Cesco.
Hello.
Rob.
Hello.
And John.
Hi.
So missing a few people, but it's okay because it is the 2005 Academy Awards, also known as a very dark year in the Academy Awards. And some of us are still in mourning.
It feels like it.
So it's understandable that some people did not want to participate. But I think we should start off with supporting actor, where George Clooney won over... It wasn't a good lineup.
No.
It was, if it wasn't George Clooney, it was going to be either Paul Giamatti for Cinderella Man or Jake Gyllenhaal for Brokeback Mountain. But we also had William Hurt for A History of Violence, and we also had Matt Dillon for Crash.
Yeah. I love the Hurt nomination. That was so great, and I know he won. It wasn't completely surprising because didn't he win New York and LA or New York and National Society? He won two of the big critic awards, right?
I think it was New York and LA, and at that point, no one had ever won both of those and not gotten in.
Right.
So if you were, a big stats queen, and at that time,
right,
could be, it was an easy way to predict him and look super smart.
Yeah, and I was surprised that he did get those two, and then I was skeptical if he was going to get nominated just because it was such a brief performance. But that was great. The Matt Dillon nomination sucked. It should have been someone else.
Anybody else?
It's like out of everybody in that movie, they picked him.
Erik,
The
I like
entire
your
movie.
outfit.
Thanks. I realized with the color of my hat and with the jean jacket that I'm Heath Ledger and not Jake Gyllenhaal.
I just realized that the hat is not a filter.
It's not. It's what it is. It's all I have. It's my husband's hat. What the fuck? Why would I have a cowboy hat?
Yeah, this category fucking sucks. Like George Clooney knew that he did nothing in Syriana, but he knew he won for direct. I mean, it was a consolation prize for director. He even said it in his acceptance speech when he got up there. He's like, I guess I'm not winning director.
Yeah.
It's like he knew. And like he didn't even thank anyone from Syriana in his speech. Like it was just such a nothing performance.
Awful.
Didn't he just ramble about environmental issues?
I'm sure, something like that.
He talked about being like out of touch, how the Academy is out of touch, and how it was. I liked his speech.
Was
the
that where
performance was not good.
Was that where he referenced Hattie McDaniel?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
This is the Academy that honored Hattie McDaniel when blacks were not allowed in the movie theater, and it's like, okay.
I just remember they made fun of it on South Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
But then he was on it, so for the movie.
And he also, it was also, I think I remember, it was one of their like campaign touches of like, oh, he gained weight for the performance, and it was just like
he had a beard.
Yes,
he deglammed.
He had what? One hamburger, please.
Yeah, he did nothing. Matt Dillon is a big no for me.
Paul Giamatti.
Well, that was oops, sorry, we didn't get you.
We fucked you up. We fucked you over last year. Here you go. You made a movie. Here's your nomination.
So
Jake Gyllenhaal took a raw dick with a bussy full of beans and could not win a fucking Oscar.
He got the BAFTA, though. He got the BAFTA. So
how many times I have watched that BAFTA win? It's unhealthy.
I'm glad he won.
Did he do this? Did he do something like? I kind of remember his expression.
A little bit, and then he tried to do like the Jamie Foxx thing, which was actually really terrible.
And then he was going to kill Ledger, right, or something. They were going to pretend like they were going to smooch.
No, that was a different thing.
Oh, that was a different one. I thought, okay.
That wasn't that win.
Well, clearly I haven't watched it as many times as you have, so.
I think it also is, like, it kind of sucks that Gyllenhaal had to be in this category because it's a co-lead, film.
Yeah.
They stuffed him in supporting, thinking he had a chance. Yeah.
It's what they do for gay movies. All
Right.
the time. But, you know, at the same time, this is, you know, getting two lead performances of the same gender, regardless of what it is extremely difficult. So it's a strategic move, regardless if it's, you know, men or women, but it's, or gay or not gay. So it's,
Who has more screen time between the two?
well, Heath Ledger would, because Jake Jet dies.
Hello. No, I'm kidding. I've seen it many times.
That's the end of the whole ending.
I confess, I never saw it. Really, he dies at the end.
As well as
Uh,
yeah, I mean, scenes with the daughter with Kate Mara, and Jake only has Anne Hathaway and family scenes apart from Ledger.
yeah, it just feels like they're really kind of even in terms of like FaceTime in it. Yeah.
Oh, and when he goes to Mexico and fucks Rodrigo Free. Wow, that's right.
I would have voted for him.
Oh, hands down. I
Oh,
mean,
absolutely.
he's
Without
brilliant, but also everyone else in that category is garbage. So it's kind of
Yeah.
For her, yeah, absolutely. It's such a gross loss, and it always will be.
Yeah.
Was there anyone was particularly rooting for that year that should have been here?
I think I was more rooting against anything Crash than for a whole lot else, but
Well, like I looked at the Golden Globe nominees for supporting actor, and it was Will Ferrell for The Producers
Oh God.
no.
yeah.
and Bob Hoskins for Mrs. Henderson Presents. Were the only two different ones.
I think Matthew McFadden would have been a really good pick.
Oh yeah.
For Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah.
Pretty iconic role, and he's amazing. He's fantastic in it.
And didn't Ed Harris? Didn't he get something? Did he get National Society for History of Violence?
Mhm.
Okay. So
Yeah, he was the one people were predicting more than.
Well, he had the bigger role.
Yeah.
And William Hurt is like in it for like 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, he's at the
At most.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Was there anyone in Munich? I saw that movie, but I remember almost nothing about it.
Jeffrey Rush.
Good
maybe?
question.
I mean,
Was there anyone in Munich?
There were no people in the movie.
There was a lot of internal competition in the movie because I think their big push was Jeffrey Rush.
Jeffrey Rush.
But like
yeah.
Daniel Craig was in it, and there was
Yeah.
a lot of small performances as well.
Yes, Syrian Hines.
Hmm.
I think Clifton Collins Jr. from Capote would have been a good pick. Could have been.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
right. Yeah.
I really like him.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's really good.
There's two that I was looking at the list of like my awards, and there's two that I really like that I one that I did not rewatch because I was like, I don't want to watch it again. But I remember liking Richard Jenkins in North Country, playing Charlize's dad. He had a good scene at the end.
Yeah. Okay.
And that was, I think, the first time I noticed who Richard Jenkins was, even though I later found out I've seen him in a bunch of other stuff before. And then Kevin Costner in The Upside of Anger, which I will discuss further in Lead Actress.
So you have thoughts. I
Yeah.
saw a tweet about this.
Yeah, I rewatched the Upside of Anger, so more on Joan Allen later.
Does George Clooney make movies anymore?
He's in something coming up, right? Some space.
Got a Netflix movie,
Yeah,
right?
Midnight Sky.
What's it called?
The Midnight Sky. You need to direct.
Right.
Take a couple weeks.
He's too busy saving the world.
Yeah.
Well, his wife is. He's just tagging along.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on from this hellscape and go to supporting
Okay.
actress.
Oh, I like this supporting actress lineup though. So that's a nice reprieve from supporting actor.
It's a good lineup. You have Frances McDormand in North Country with withstanding. Like, not sure about that one. But you also have Catherine Keener for Capote and for the other 3 movies that she was in that year, and Amy Adams' first loss for Junebug, Michelle Williams for Brokeback Mountain,
Here.
and Rachel Weisz for The Constant Gardener. I
Huh.
rewatched
yeah.
The Constant Gardener
Gosh.
because I hadn't seen it since the first
Yeah.
time I saw it online way back when. So she's good and she's deserving of the win, but I really think Amy Adams could have, like, this is the best place for her to have won in her career. Like, it might not have been a good thing for her to win that early, but in hindsight, like, it probably would have been best
Yeah.
for everyone.
She should have won, period.
She should have won. I'm not mad at Rachel Weisz, but to me, it's like a pretty. It's like I feel like it's a good nomination, but not necessarily a great memorable win. It's not going to be on the top of any lists of best wins, you know.
Right.
It's funny that she won, and then it took as long as it did for her to get another nomination. And Amy Adams and Michelle Williams have been just stacking them up since.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think
And McDormand, for that matter.
right. Weiss hasn't really done a lot of high-profile films either that were, you know,
Yeah.
that I can recall. I mean, I think of all the movies that she's done since then.
Well, that's kind of what's fascinating is that she wasn't able to parlay it into a different career than she had,
Mm-hmm.
whereas everybody else did. Just
Supporting actress curse. Yeah.
Sometimes it's deserved.
Sometimes it's deserved. Yeah.
But she broke it because she got nominated again. Isn't that usually the you break the curse if you get it enough? Because everybody thought that Marissa Tomei was going to get nominated again, but she broke that curse.
It's really just
unfortunately
at this point.
Mercedes Rule and Maria Sorvino are the ones that are.
Yeah.
Well, we know why with Mira Sorvino now. So
Yes, I know.
Yeah. It's funny because I think I would have voted for Keener, but then in hindsight, knowing what's happened with Amy Adams and that she doesn't have one yet, probably this would have been a great place to just give her one, because I don't think that, save for Arrival that she wasn't even nominated for, I don't think she ever was in contention the other times that she was nominated. I think this was the closest she ever got to actually winning, and it was her breakout kind of performance. Really, really memorable. So yeah, probably this was, as close as she's ever gotten to it.
I would absolutely agree.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a perfect ingenue win that Academy loves in this category.
Yeah.
It felt like
It was just too small a movie, and she was too unknown at the time.
Right. Did you go? And that was it, right? For nominations, it just was her. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And it was seen. Did it even make a dent in the release of like Art House?
You mean box office?
No, just was it really? It wasn't really a big even art house release. Junebug. I don't recall it being.
It did okay.
I think when I finally heard about it, I think when I think it was actually on the boards when when everybody was promoting their favorite, and I remember there was somebody, I don't remember who it was on the boards, that was really put, and I had never heard of her or the movie. So, and by the time say that again.
Amy Adams won a performance award at Sundance that year. That kind of kicked it off. And then I think it got released in the summer.
yeah.
And she tied with Michelle Williams, right, for Critics' Choice?
At the Critics' Choice, and that was, I think, that the narrative that she had was, I thought, pretty cool, because at the time there were still so few people that would win performance awards at Sundance and then made it all the way to the Oscars.
Yeah,
right.
Now I think it happens a little more often than before.
Right.
But I also think that so the Critics' Choice, she did tie with Michelle Williams, and she wasn't there at the ceremony, if I remember correctly, because we didn't get an Amy Adams speech. We'll never get one. So,
I thought it was the reverse. I thought Michelle Williams was there and Amy Adams was there and accepted. No, it was the reverse, because I know one of them showed up.
Yeah, I thought it was the other way around.
The only time she's ever won Critics' Choice has been in a tie,
Mm,
because she has the tie from 2 years ago too.
yeah, sharp objects.
They can never just give it to her on her own.
Yeah.
Well, she won the Spirit Award on her own, so
That would be interesting alternate Oscar history though, because if she wins in 2005, she could have been an Oscar curse. We don't even know.
Right.
Sure. Or
and
Michelle Williams.
Better to lose, I guess.
Yeah.
and
Sometimes.
would Rachel Weisz be seen as overdue, and then Regina King not have an Oscar?
No, because
I don't know.
she wouldn't have the career.
No.
You're right.
Yeah.
Everything happened as it was supposed to happen.
Back to the Mummy.
Mummy.
For me, this lineup has, I think there's 4 good performances in this, and then the one that's a sore thumb for me that is like the very first performance I think of when I think of like nothing performances that somehow got nominated, and that's Catherine Keener in Capote.
Not where I thought you were going with this.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Either.
This nomination has mystified me since it happened, and I remember getting in trouble on the boards for being like, she did nothing. She does nothing in this movie. Even her, when they showed her clip at the Oscars, she had this look on her face like, that's, I guess, it? Like, she's like, to me, she had like 4 other movies that year, so that she was on people's minds. She was part of that Capote momentum with Philip Seymour Hoffman, and she played a very famous person. So I think those things combined to give her the nomination. But man, what a nothing performance.
Then you also had Infamous the same year, so you had Sandra Bullock playing the same character and going up against Catherine Keener playing the same character. And at least at that time, there was a very different regard of quality, I guess.
I'm not saying
I disagree. I thought she was perfect, and I would have voted for
I
her.
love her in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably
It's
would.
really like the perfect supporting performance, and she's so good.
she sits in a chair and laughs, and then she walks up to him and says something like kind of cold at the end, and that's it.
But she's got that really cute, like, Butch Dykey haircut, too. How can you not love that?
She's
I
better.
love Catherine Keener. I say that as a Catherine Keener fan. I just think
She's better in 40-Year-Old Virgin though.
Hmm.
she's better in
Yeah.
Get Out. Like she's had a lot of great performances.
I
Well, I mean-
definitely agree with John. I did not care for her performance.
It was the second time she's been able to kind of skate through with a performance that people wasn't thinking was going to get in. So
But she deserved the nomination for being John Malkovich. I kind of half and half with John, and I don't, maybe it was because Philip Seymour Hoffman was just, he was just so larger than life, and yeah, she really had to play, second fiddle to him. She was competent. I agree. And I don't begrudge her the nomination, but nominated like, oh, I forgot. Oh, you're right. She was in that.
you see it as sort of like a Maggie Gyllenhaal coattail, like that kind of.
Yeah, it feels more like a country or what's a Crazy Heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when Catherine Keener watches this, I just wanted to know that I thought she was fabulous, and I would vote for her.
You're still not getting invited to the party.
I agree. Yeah.
I will say this. I am very grateful that Catherine Keener is nominated because it blocked Sandra Bullock from Crash.
Yeah.
Oh God, that would have been horrible.
Falling down the stairs.
Although I think
Yeah, Mom. Yeah, they- yeah.
What was that?
What?
Oh my God.
Sandra Bullock falling down the stairs from Races.
Sandra
Oh,
Bullock
God.
overcoming racism.
If that is not in the Academy Museum when it opens,
Do you think she was in 6?
No, I don't think she was in 6, but
Okay.
just joking. Like,
Candy Newton won the BAFTA, so I think she was
Yeah.
quite
yeah,
close.
Teddy Newton or gone.
Same.
Oh yeah.
she just
So
made.
we're-
Yeah.
Oh, Tandy Newton! I just thought about that. She's
That's right.
the one that really survived that. Oh, I love the interview with her from Alex Jung. She talks about Crash. I mean, talk about everything. It's an incredible interview.
Yeah.
What did she say about Crash?
Nice.
Ooh.
Oh, really? She kind of.
Because that's one of my least favorite performances from her. I usually really like her. But I think that movie just made everyone bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
Oh,
across the board. Everybody was terrible in that film.
Yeah.
everybody was tainted by it.
I thought I thought that John that was gonna be shitting on Frances McDormand. I didn't realize we were veering into
Yeah,
shitting
they
on
really took a
Catherine
turn
Keener.
again.
I didn't mind Frances McDormand in North.
Me neither, actually. Yeah.
No, she was fine. She got
Yeah.
she got to play. What was her? She got
She played to her strength.
right,
Yeah, it was like Laurel.
and she got terminally ill right at the end or something. I'm trying to remember. I only saw
Yeah.
it once. Right.
She has the line through the
Right.
voice box.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. That memorable fuck you. to
Yeah.
her,
The
yeah.
rare comedic performance that gets nominated.
Kinda.
Well, all of her performances have been that she's been nominated for or won have been to a certain extent.
To a certain extent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stretching the definition of comedy.
I don't know.
Right.
Three Billboards was miserable. It was not comedic.
Well, her performance was definitely a black comedy.
Well, comedy, yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree.
What did people think of Anne Hathaway in Brokeback?
So I rewatched
Yes,
Brokeback
that's
this
the
year,
best Bacon movie.
The nails.
and I really liked her this time around.
Yeah. I mean, the end scene on the phone when she's talking to Heath Ledger.
Absolutely.
And big moment of the 2000.
That was great. You know.
His car broke down upside the road. Just the way she says upside the road. I don't know. There's something about it that just, I don't know.
And this was kind of like the start of her kind of off her Princess Diaries kind of stuff. She was still kind of like getting her footing into, more serious, dramatic roles, right? I think. Had she done anything?
I think for
Okay.
her
Yeah.
and Michelle Williams, like this was the you're not
Yeah.
just like these teen actresses.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but she was kind of the Sandra Oh of this quartet.
She also had the smallest role out of the
Yeah.
four. I think.
That's kind of what
Although I think I liked her better than Michelle Williams, actually.
Hmm.
But
I
Michelle
think-
Williams had the Jack Twist, Jack Nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's never going to set right with me because, and I don't even know if there was any way for anybody to pull off that line because
It's not a good line.
no, it even
Sorry.
reads, weird in when you're reading it, but there's no, I don't think there was any way to really make it work. And her face has that weird, like I just had a stroke tremble.
So is
Which-
that
not the
whose fault
greatest
is that? Diana Osana, Larry McMurtry, or Ang Lee? Who's responsible for that?
I think she
Danny
is
Kroll's responsible for
mostly
it.
responsible.
Right, but
But also, I'm not the biggest
they
fan.
could have taken that story. I don't know. Did anybody? I'm sure everybody read that short story. It takes like 5 minutes to read it.
Oh, yeah. It's 2 pages, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you could have left it out, though. That's the thing. That it's the most memorable line in the short story. So I don't think you could have left it out. But at the same time, I can't think of a way to make it work. I just can't because it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. Yeah, that's the main thing. It just doesn't make sense.
The leap from Twist and Nasty doesn't make sense because there's no alliteration
Connection?
to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. But it is like a moment where she's obviously, so completely beside herself that, sometimes you say dumb things that don't make sense. But it's always weird. Always.
The nonsense line.
I loved her in Brokeback, but I'm still. It amazes me that she is now a 4-time Oscar nominee.
It really is amazing.
And I like her. That's not like an insult. I'm a big fan of hers, but I definitely, she was basically before this, her most well-known thing was Dawson's Creek, so I don't necessarily think I would have predicted that trajectory for her.
But of all
Same.
the 4 Oscar nominations, her best performance is back on television with Fosse Verdon. So I think anyway.
Blue Valentine was
Blue Valentine,
pretty
that's
phenomenal.
She's,
Okay, maybe.
she's pretty great in that.
Fine.
The tear wipe. That.
I thought you were gonna say her best career performances in Dawson's Creek.
Oh my god.
You said back on television, and I was like, well, she is good in that show, and it is on Netflix now, but
That would have been really fun.
it's missing all the original music, though.
Yeah, I heard the Paula Cole song there's some issue with some rights, so there's some other artist that I'd never heard of doing the title song.
Well, always, since it's been in syndication and on DVD, they never paid her originally for syndication rights, but they didn't pay for the syndication rights for any of the music in the entire series. So it's on Netflix now, and like 50% of the original music has been changed.
Wow.
They just they claimed that they like never could have fathomed the idea of DVD sales, streaming services, etc. So they never paid for any of it.
That's
And now Paula Cole says, I'll gladly take your money, but you have to pay me.
Right.
Give Paula Cole her things. So.
yes.
Yes.
And speaking of Paula Cole, where is she these days?
She's waiting for her Dawson's Creek
He's
money.
waiting for her money.
Oh my God.
Okay,
Wait
so
for a while, honey. Okay, so we totally.
This was a
training
Sorry. Sorry about that.
I truly think that I forgot which studio it was, but this should have been an easy nomination for Shirley MacLaine in Her Shoes. I don't know how it didn't happen. At least the Globes recognized her, but a legend.
Yeah.
But that movie was bad. What about where was Scarlett Johansson for Match Point? Where was she in the lead, or were they pushing her for
She
supporting?
was in supporting. She got it at the Globes. So.
Okay.
Of course she got in the Globes. She always gets in the Globes.
Yeah.
love song for Bubba.
Love song for fucking John Travolta.
I feel like though that Shirley MacLaine tends to miss out more than she actually gets in.
She hasn't been nominated since she won.
I mean, she missed out for Postcards from the Edge.
Right, Madame Siak.
Madame Suzaska was another sort of like, she won the Golden Globe for that.
Mhm.
It was like a three-way tie. But yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So she tends to miss more often than not. Yeah.
It's just rude. Like
It's just rude.
it's like
I wonder if it's like a situation where people don't necessarily like her as a person.
It felt like sort of like Kate Winslet, where it was like a lot of nominations, you finally win, we don't really like you, please go away.
But Winslet came back with Steve Jobs.
Yeah, I think that was just like, there was no way to avoid it, but boy, that would have been a really great snub. After winning the Globe.
I've been
That
watching
performance is
And BAFTA.
unhinged.
It's
Oh my
fucking
God.
awful.
Just
Steve Jobs.
what
She's
happened to
cheating.
her? Oh,
Fix it, Steve. It sounds like Melania Trump. She's ridiculous.
And she's so good usually. I don't know what happened to.
I have no idea.
No.
Really? Yeah.
I don't know.
Any other contenders in supporting actress that you all liked?
Gong Li.
Who?
Sure. I love her. Period. So yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
She's never been nominated.
Mm,
She's arguably one of the greatest actresses of the last 50 years.
I missed that. Who?
Gong Li.
Oh, Gong Li.
Asia.
Yeah.
Right.
She
won national-
NBR.
NBR, right?
NPR curse.
Mm.
NBR curse. Yeah.
Don't win the NBR.
Mm.
Well, we'll get to the Z Zhang snub
Yeah.
Um,
in a minute, but Oscar was looking particularly white this year.
Yeah.
Every year.
Definitely then. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
literally every year.
Was Terrence Howard the only?
Yes.
I don't think he was in supporting actress. Though.
No, I'm saying
Overall,
someone of color that year that was in.
I forgot where it must have been one of the Hollywood roundtables, but Taraji P. Henson has talked a lot about this Oscar year and how there was no campaign for her for Hustle and Flow and supporting actress, and she was so upset that there was like they saw no way of making it happen, so they just didn't even bother doing anything for her, and she was really upset with that. So
Yeah.
which is why I think
Okay.
when people put in themselves into debt to make these campaigns, like we will talk about and doubt and compliance much later in the future.
Yes.
But I mean, like, it's unfair sometimes.
Yeah.
Here's a question.
Then again, I mean, I would do the exact same thing, and I cannot really fault, like, for example, End Out for
Right.
really trying, because sometimes it works.
Mhm.
Sometimes it has
It got her
worked.
name out there.
and-
It got her everything that she has now.
Yeah, exactly. And she was deserving, and I think she did more for herself than anybody would have done for her that year. So, yeah.
And it's always actresses that have to do it, whether it's Diane Ladd or Melissa Leo
Right.
and Dowd, and we tease and kind of make fun of it, but at the same time, I have just mad respect for all of the grassroots work that any of them
Absolutely.
did to
Yeah.
get there, because they have to, because they're not young women and they're not going to get the attention that
Right.
Today's Diane Ladd's birthday.
it is. We get
Whoa.
everybody.
Happy birthday, Diane
Happy
Ladd.
Happy birthday,
birthday.
Diane Ladd.
I hope she's not upset and chagrined today.
Mother of an Oscar winner.
And an Oscar nominee herself.
I'm gonna throw out one performance, and you're gonna all laugh me out of the Zoom, but I stand by it, and I don't think she was ever in contention, but it's one of her last like really good performances that could have possibly made it. And that's Diane Keaton in The Family Stone.
Oh.
All right, I'm out. No.
I know some people hate that movie, but she's actually very, very good in it. So that was one of the performances in the year. I just wanted
There
to-
were people predicting her. I remember that.
Mhm.
and she's definitely better than like Shirley MacLaine in her shoes. So
I feel like the type of role you only get in if you're Meryl Streep.
yeah, if Meryl had done it, she would have probably gotten a lot farther with it.
Mhm.
Yeah. I have a question?
Yeah.
Does anybody here think that Reese Witherspoon should have been in supporting or versus lead?
Lead.
Lead.
Okay.
I rewatched Walk the Line specifically to go back and look at her performance, and it would we complain so much about lead performances in supporting. It would be really ridiculous if she had been campaign in supporting. I mean, she would have won easily, but
Right.
it's
Well, I don't think any more ridiculous than Jake Gyllenhaal. That's kind of why I'm highlighting it, because it's a pretty big difference.
Right. And Witherspoon was winning everything in lead. Right?
Yeah, she was coronated, and it was
She was cleaning. She was kind of cleaning up, right?
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah.
But the difference is
Ooh.
that that Gyllenhaal and Ledger are both the same gender, so they would have had to be in the same category
Mhm.
where they could split up Phoenix and Witherspoon.
Yes.
It would have been easier to absorb had she won in supporting, I think. I'm not a fan of that performance at all. But
Do you like her?
I do like her, yeah.
Okay.
I just think that I had so many issues with the script and just the way that the story was sort of conceptualized, and how the character was structured, and also the fact that she was very poorly directed. I just have a lot of issues with that movie in general. But I think it would have made it would have been easier to sort of like absorb it had she won in supporting. Yeah, because it's probably one of my least favorite lead actress wins that
I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
And I like her a lot.
Yeah.
I like her. I think she is like doing the best work of her career in the past 5 years or so.
Mm.
Yeah, this wouldn't even be in the top 5 of her performances for me.
Well,
But
number
the
one would be Legally Blonde, but beyond
Yes.
The election for me.
I was gonna say,
Election for sure.
Freeway.
one person who should have been, I think, campaign and supporting is Maria Bello in A History of Violence.
Yes.
I don't know why they
Yeah.
tried to put her in lead, because it was
They put her in lead, right?
yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
kinda
the
got
Globes
screwed
that moved her to
twice.
lead.
I think she would have gotten in supporting.
She also got
It's hard.
screwed
It's hard to
with
say,
that.
but yeah, they should have gone supporting. It's what I usually do with a kind of role. So it's odd.
Who do you think she would have gotten in over, though?
I would
I
say
Doug?
Keener
I don't
or
think McDormand. Was,
McDormand.
yeah.
McDormand maybe,
Keener or McDormand.
or Amy
Yeah.
Adams.
Not Amy Adams.
Ah.
I think if she had been, if Maria, because this was like an interesting time for Maria Bello because she was like almost becoming an A-list star, and I think if she had been a bigger star at the time and she had run that lead campaign, she might have gotten in. But I think it was just a combination of it not quite being a full lead; it was more supporting.
Yeah.
And she was still not quite a household name.
Yeah.
It kind of boxed her out.
That's generally what makes a difference, I think. And that's why it would have made sense for her to actually campaign in supporting.
Mm-hmm.
You don't quite make it in without that kind of like name recognition.
Yeah.
Unless your performance gets really singled out or stuff like that. But
Well,
yeah.
the movie gets 9 nominations.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Which was not going to happen. So yeah.
All right, so let's move on to, even though we were talking about lead actress, we'll leave that to the end. Lead actor.
One? Okay.
I think this might be one of the strongest lineups for this category.
It's really good.
It's
honestly.
pretty good, yeah.
Good. It's really, really good.
It's really good.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you have, obviously, as we said, Philip Seymour Hoffman won for Capote. You have Heath Ledger for Brokeback Mountain, Joaquin Phoenix for Walk the Line, David Strathairn for Good Night and Good Luck, and Terrence Howard for Hustle and Flow. Which I remember being very surprised, not that Terrence Howard got in, because some of us were predicting him, but that it did so well at SAG, because it got the ensemble nomination at SAG with his lead actor nomination as well. And I think supporting for Crash, he got in there too. Or maybe that was, I'm misremembering, but I thought he did there.
No, I think only Don Cheadle and
Oh, it was Don Cheadle. Okay.
need the rounds
But
there.
the ensemble nomination was like, all right, like it's gonna happen. Because it,
Winning song. Oh my god.
poor Dolly Parton.
Poor Dolly.
Oh, Dolly.
Traveling through.
That's an amazing moment, though. Still, poor Dolly. But to
Yeah.
hear them actually say "It's hard out here for him,"
Yeah.
amazing.
First rap winner.
It was really between the two of them, though.
There was 3 songs, right? There was only the 3, the Crash song and then Dolly and the Pimp.
Yeah. At least it was a Crash song.
But I mean, it's a perfect example of what the category's for, because like you see the creation of the song and how it's used in the film, like it totally fits in with what they're supposed to be honoring in that category.
Right.
Well, but this is also the year that the song from Brokeback Mountain was deemed ineligible, and it was easily the best
Yes.
song.
Is that the Rufus Wainwright song?
No, the
No,
Emmylou Harris.
The movie.
Emily Harris, Rufus Wainwright. Okay.
Yeah,
Never Girl.
And that won
I
the
love that
Globe.
will never grow old. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that won it won the Globe, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And then they decided that it wasn't part of the narrative enough to,
It wasn't in the movie long enough because it's only
which is
on
ridiculous.
the radio for like less than 5 seconds. When he
That's whatever.
So when that song won Best Song, I looked at my wife and I said, you know what? I think Crash is going to win fucking Best Picture. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why, but for some reason, when that song won, I had this sinking feeling like, I think that fucking movie's going to win Best Picture. I don't know.
I had no such feeling.
I did. I had a dread feeling as when it won editing and screenplay, and
yeah, but
I was fearing. Anyway, we'll
I-
get to
it
that when
had-
we talk about Best Picture.
It peaked right on time, because I remember reading the breakdowns on Entertainment Weekly, and it was right there up with like Brokeback Mountain in terms of like percentages, and yeah, that's
One of those critics, I forget, that used to, and I think he's like dead. I don't know if it's Gene Shalit or one of those guys, or that used to do these Oscar preview shows right before, and they do the predictions. He talks about all the nominees. He said, when he got to Best Picture, he said, "Watch out for a Crash." Anyway, we'll talk about it when we get to Best.
Well, and we'll get to that later, but so with lead actor,
We have a lot of feelings.
Yes,
This
know.
I know.
We do, yeah.
Sorry, I jumped ahead. I thought it was great lineup. Yeah, I think it's pretty solid. Was there anybody that you thought was going to get nominated that didn't?
I mean, this was the pretty much expected. The
Yeah.
one that got pushed out, thank God, was Russell Crowe for Cinderella Man.
Yeah, I think that's probably would have been the expected one.
Not
Yeah.
Viggo
Or
Mortensen?
lesser Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but those were the 6. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. But it should have been Jake Gyllenhaal in lead for Jarhead.
Surprise! Nominated against himself.
No, then he would have lost both, and that would have been even
Right.
more heartbreaking for me, and I would have just been like, I can't, I'm just going to jump off this balcony.
Who would you all vote for?
Heath Ledger.
Pleasure.
Ledger.
I would have voted for Strathairn, but that's because that's my favorite movie.
Probably me too. But between the two of them, probably, yeah.
It's between
Strathairn
the two of
or
them
Ledger,
for me,
yeah.
too. They're both great in totally different ways.
Yeah.
It's a little bit hard for me to divorce Ledger this year from his untimely death and then winning for Dark Knight and
Right.
but that's all hindsight. So in the moment of 2005, could have gone either way.
It's funny because Hoffman is probably my least favorite thing about that movie, and that movie was probably my best picture pick. I love Capote, but
I love
I
to put
liked the other Capote performance that year better.
much better.
Yeah, than Hoffman.
He
So
also-
it's a really odd combination of like I love the supporting performance. I thought it was beautifully directed. It was my pick for best picture, but then the central performance was probably the weakest part of it for me. Yeah.
I think
I
Hoffman,
thought he was great.
he's so rigid and too careful with somebody that was much more animated.
Yeah, it's just such a schematic sort of performance. And
Something that seemed like it should have been exactly right.
yeah.
But Toby Moore?
Yeah.
Toby Jones.
Toby Jones, yes.
Yeah.
Looked exactly like him.
Yeah.
He's so good in that
Had
movie.
the diminutive stature
Yeah.
that Hoffman doesn't have.
Right.
I like everything more about Toby Jones' performance.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
Infamous
absolutely.
is 2006, not 2005.
Uh,
But yeah, like,
Is it?
like right
It
after
is?
it.
it
Yeah.
didn't get released. It got released the next year. I think because it was competing against Capote. So they
I
I could have sworn that it was like the same year.
Yeah,
Just double checked.
Yeah, I thought it was like a Volcano Dante's Peak thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be released the same year, but they pushed it to 2006.
That's what I gathered. That's what I thought.
Okay.
Which is what
And they threw it, and I think they released it kind of like in no man's land, like in February or something, just wasteland, if I remember correctly.
It opened at Venice in 2006, so it probably opened a little bit after that, maybe in September.
Okay.
Venice is August. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
The one thing I do want to highlight is, because it just happened recently too, where the Academy awards a lip singing performance the year before in a music biopic, and then the next year there's probably a superior performance, but the actor actually does the singing. That does not win. So like Joaquin Phoenix and Walk the Line to me was a far superior performance than Jamie Foxx and Ray. And then cut to about 12, 14 years later, Rami Malek wins for Bohemian Rhapsody. Then what's his face does not get in for Rocket Man.
Yeah.
Taron Egerton. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and Bradley Cooper, who also does his own
Oh yeah, and that too.
original
Yeah.
music too.
Yeah, so I just think that's interesting.
Jamie
There-
Foxx didn't do his own singing in that? Why did I think
No.
he did? Oh, okay. Why did I think he did?
Well, that's how I look at Ledger versus Hoffman in this too, because Hoffman's is such a regimented, stately performance, but it always feels like a performance. It always feels like you are watching an impersonation
Mhm.
versus Ledger, who never at any moment doesn't feel exactly
Yeah,
like
I didn't think that about Philip Seymour Hoffman. At the very beginning when he started doing it. I mean, that's such a fine line between mimicry and all that. I thought, after as the movie went on, I was totally buying it, but at the same time, yeah, Ledger, that was just such a torturing, heartbreaking performance that you thought about that for a long time, and that's, I think, for me, was why he should have won. It was just such a yeah, torturing, heartbreaking. You just thought about him for a long time.
I think more now than back then, but already back then a little bit, I resented the fact that none of the actors involved were queer. But at that point in time, this is like 15 years ago, something like that. You're kind of like coming at it from the perspective of, I'm just glad that the movie got made, that these stories are being told. But I did sort of like walk away from the theater sort of like wishing that at least one of them could have been like, one of the two roles could have gone to like a gay person. And I think having rewatched it probably like a couple of years ago, it's even more kind of like evident now. And I feel that probably Gyllenhaal does a better job than Ledger in that sense, sort of like embodying the kind of like struggle with the queerness and all of that. Than Ledger does. But yeah, it's just kind of like one of those situations where like right now in 2020, I'd be like, no, just get out of my face. No.
Yeah, I just watched The Prom, which has the worst gay face of like anything I've seen in a very, very long time. It's horrific. It's horrific. And we really don't need that anymore.
Gordon's character?
Yeah, he's disgusting.
I saw it on Broadway, so I know.
It's the reason why I'm not gonna bother with Supernova this year at all.
Why is James?
Unless somehow it gets a ton of nominations and I'm like the completest is it's not gonna happen. But I'm not interested. I'm just not interested in watching this kind of stuff anymore. Yeah, no.
What was James Corden thing? Like, how is he allowed to be in movies?
Because he has like 14 Emmys, so it's like,
Yeah.
oh, here. Nope. Oh, he's awful. It's disgusting.
Send him back, please.
I'm with you on that I mean, kind of, Cesco. I don't mind it as much, but I do completely agree that the opportunities need to be there first and foremost.
Right.
And if it's not, I think you're missing a lot of opportunities.
Right, but I think back then there was probably not a lot of gay actors that were out, and the gay actors that were out were probably not names. So I think that's, you go.
It's just kind of like the catch.
I think you fast forward now, and yes, there's more gay actors that are out that are actually name recognition that can take on some of these roles. I think like I said, back then, and correct me if I'm wrong, I just don't remember a lot of gay actors being out.
Well, but it's really the lack of opportunity that doesn't really afford you a chance to break out.
Right,
I mean,
and I think it's probably happening
for yourself if people don't put you in movies.
Right.
So
I get
it's
that.
take a little bit of, it's kind of like a little bit of a leap of faith, because this was a high-profile movie, with a really high-profile director and all of that. To maybe just have this leap of faith in one of the two roles, give it to an actual queer person, maybe not as well known as Ledger or Gyllenhaal, but it's going to be more true to the story and also give the opportunity to this person to actually start making a name for themselves.
Sure, but I think the probably was to get this even movie to get to market and to get it approved, get it to people, get it where they say we're going to make this movie, and then have other actors that may have not been known that were openly gay. I think it would have been very difficult to get that movie financed and made and released. I mean, they were talking about Mark Wahlberg was approached for that role. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
I avoided that. But
What's that?
That's
But
I'm just trying to make a point that, Hollywood versus, it's the moneymaker and all that, and then a subject, and it's hard to believe that even that wasn't that long ago that was still kind of taboo-ish, and a lot of things have changed since then. So I think
we don't have any studio films with gay leads.
Say that again.
Regular.
No.
It still is. 15 years ago.
We got Love, Simon a few years ago.
That was the first. That was the first
That's it.
rom-com.
So I feel like this would have been a good moment to sort of like really break with sort of like this tradition of like gay face, and just be like, you know what, we're gonna make this movie on these terms, and let it really sort of like, open a new path. And that didn't quite happen, and it's just I've seen it like I haven't seen it like that many times, but I think like a couple of years ago, it's a very straight gay movie. So yeah.
Well, I think one thing you have to consider too is at this time it was, very, very attractive for studios to have a movie like this where they could talk about the bravery of the straight actor playing gay.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the whole media angle to hang their hat on. So
it was the same thing with Felicity Huffman in
right, exactly.
It was like the big selling point of that performance is that she's not actually trans. Yeah.
Like, they had made that movie with a trans actor, which they absolutely should have.
Yeah.
And I remember I was actually at a screening of it, not to jump ahead, but I was at a screening of it where a woman stood up and asked why a trans woman was not cast. And
Yeah.
an answer. But it was like, sadly, it would not have gotten probably any push for an Oscar. It was the novelty, quote unquote, of Felicity Huffman, big and hot on Desperate Housewives at the time.
Yeah.
Playing a
It
trans
makes it even worse for me to a certain extent.
It's like they absolutely should have made the movies that way. I don't know if they would have had the same presence at the Oscars had they been made with.
Right. I think one of the things that was a big benefit for Focus and for Brokeback with having Ledger and Gyllenhaal is that when they did their press junkets and interviews, they were constantly hit with exactly that of like, how did you do this? And this was like so brave. And their responses were always just like, the fuck are you talking about?
I'm an actor.
Back on it really, really well. There's a really great Heath Ledger interview about that he does that. And I think that was a good way to kind of try and bridge that. But yeah, in 2005, not only were there not a lot of openly gay actors out, what would happen is they would get pigeonholed into just only being able to play gay roles. So it would kind of backfire. So it was still always, and still always, is an issue of opportunity where, you can't only sideline an LGBTQ actor into that specific role. They have to be able to play all sides.
So, John, before you leave us, any thoughts on lead actress before you go?
It was kind of a year. I would have probably picked Kira out of that lineup. Felicity Huffman, I think gives a good performance. The movie is terrible, and it just should not have been a cis woman actor in that role. Reese, again, not her top 5 performances of all time. I'm not angry at the win, but it's kind of a meh one. Judi Dench, I like that she was nominated, but it was kind of a trifle of a movie. Charlize Theron, fine. I'm glad you came back after Monster and kind of proved herself as not just a one-shot wonder. So I would have said Kira. And as far as people not nominated, Zhang Ziyi, I think, should have been in there. I don't know. Laura Linney and the Squid and the Whale, I go back and forth on was it good or was it just Laura Linney being Laura Linney?
That's for me.
Which is good. Like a good Laura Linney being Laura Linney is always great. So it was kind of an odd year for actors, and I guess my final answer is Kira for the win. Underbite for the win.
We'll see you next time, John.
All right, thanks for having me.
All right, have a good Sunday.
You too. Bye bye.
Any other thoughts on lead actress?
Did you guys watch?
And then there were 5. The what?
Did you guys watch Happiest Season this
I watched it last night.
I've seen it a couple times.
Yep.
I
I
liked
thought
it.
it was cute. It was really sweet. Really good. Who's the actress that plays? What was her name? The sister Jane.
Barry Holland.
She
Oh my
co-wrote
God!
with Clea.
Right,
Go on a Worst Watch with her right now.
she's so great. And Mary Steenburgen, they were all great. Really good ensemble. Really, everybody was terrific in that movie. Just a fun, really fun, enjoyable film.
I love it.
Really,
Yeah, it was really good.
yeah, totally enjoyable. I mean, you've seen the movie before 100 times, but it was still really enjoyable. Just a substitute, it's kind of like a updated version of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. I don't, it just really, but it was just so fun.
I was
and
reminded
enjoyable.
of it because of the discussion about queer actors playing queer characters.
Yeah.
Kristen Stewart.
Is the other actor? I try to look her up. The actress that
Davis.
played, yeah,
I love her.
She is not.
she's not.
Neither is Aubrey Plaza.
Neither is Aubrey Plaza.
But she should.
It's an issue.
Yeah.
Dan Levy, of course, is. So.
He is a lesbian. That's true.
He is a lesbian.
Notable
I ju-
screen lesbian Dan Levy.
I just love his when he meets Mary Steenburgen. He's like, she's fabulous. After she's like upset that she wasn't informed that he was invited.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, it was really enjoyable. Very enjoyable.
Best actress. I also
Best actress, yes.
would have voted.
We're just going into actress, aren't we?
Yes.
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 John let us in with his
Yes.
Yes.
his commentary.
Breakdown. Yeah.
I also would have voted for Kira in this lineup, but I think this lineup's kind of terrible.
It's a bad lineup.
It's a bad lineup. I would have voted for Charlize or Judy.
I would have voted for Charlize as well. But
I think it's a very accomplished performance.
Yeah, it's fine.
So I don't have really an issue with her nomination. It's just that out of this lineup, I can't really justify voting for anybody else. Judi Dench is never bad to me.
I never saw that one. Heard that movie.
It was.
Was it Mrs. Henderson?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
fun. I remember she got runner-up at New York Film Critics, and it was like, oh, is this something to like pay attention to? And I was like, no, it's not. But
that's why Witherspoon's win makes so much sense because
her competition was weak.
So I take back what I said. I prefer Charlize in North Country to the other four, but if I was voting, I probably would have voted for Reese just because I wanted her to win. So
okay,
not necessarily for that performance, but
there's a lot of that for actors and actresses all the time.
Yeah.
On your first nomination, though, I don't know.
Well, but she should have been there for election. Like, as Rachel said, her best performance is Legally Blonde. So
thank you.
Sandra Bullock won on her first for basically the exact same reasons that Reese won.
I think Sandra Bullock had more of an established career. At this point,
she had a banner year. She had huge
and she was older. I mean, for me, like first nomination, it's one of those instances where if it's Emmanuel Riva or Isabelle Huppert, then fuck yeah, I'll vote for you. That's out of the question, regardless of the fact that they deserved it. But I mean, Reese Witherspoon for this kind of role on her first nomination, girl, you can wait a little longer.
See, I would have said the same thing
and
about
let's see if you
Keira
make it
Knightley,
back.
though.
Oh, same thing. Yeah,
Keira Knightley's first, and like this is the first like anything off after like Pirates of the Caribbean. So
right. Oh, same exact logic applies to her for me. Yeah.
Fair.
I just this is not a great lineup, and I prefer the 1995 TV version of Pride and Prejudice myself. But of the lineup, I thought Keira Knightley gave the best performance. I don't necessarily think that Keira Knightley is somebody who needs an Oscar or needs an Oscar that early in her life, but strictly on performance. I mean, if it was not Reese second place was Felicity
Yeah.
Huffman.
Yes,
Yeah.
She was in
Correct.
second, I think.
correct.
And I like career-wise, like it wouldn't be odd for her to have won an Oscar at that point in her life, but the film is so like a nothing movie that it barely registers in pop culture today. Like,
Transamerica.
hmm
Yeah, I mean, she was also like that was really the peak of her career. Like
Right.
she was on Desperate Housewives, and she hadn't gotten in trouble with the law yet. I think she was. I mean, she was widely regarded as like the best actress on Desperate Housewives, and she had come from all of her other TV work and Sports Night, and I think she was really highly respected.
Mhm.
But she wasn't the Reese had the like you're the huge movie star playing a real person.
America's Sweetheart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still think that Charlize or Judy as two-time Oscar winners to me makes more sense than Reese winning one for this.
So if Notes on a Scandal came out this year instead of next year,
Right.
this would have been the right year to have done the two-time Judi Dench thing.
I still think,
I think still
She's
Reese
wonderful
would have
in
still won.
yeah, I think she
No, like obviously Reese would have
Yeah.
won, but
Runaway favorite.
I would have easily said I would say Dench for sure.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely.
Oh, got it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah,
Although I think
very
she's
strong
really
favorite.
lovely in Mrs. Henderson Presents, and it's something that it's the kind of role that she kind of like can do in her sleep, but there's also that comes with a certain confidence in your craft that not everybody has. So yeah, I would have been perfectly okay with her winning for that. Yeah.
So if I had my way, I would have gotten rid of the entire lineup. And I'm looking at who I nominated. Like I didn't get a chance to rewatch all of them, but I did like Gwyneth Paltrow in Proof.
Bye.
Been getting dragged this week.
Yeah, no, that's a
She's getting dragged.
The only reason that I would say I saw Mary Louise Parker on Broadway do that, and so then seeing it, yeah.
Right.
So, but I hear you, but no.
She was in fifth for me. Natasha Richardson in The White Countess, a movie that does not exist.
I don't believe it. No.
It's one of the last Merchant Ivory movies that came out.
Oh yes, yes.
I have seen it. Just for yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I know it exists. Yes.
Juliette Binoche in Cachet, the
Thank
Michael
you.
Haneke film.
Yeah.
That was my choice.
Yeah. For lead or for supporting?
I had her in Leap.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, sure, whatever. She's amazing. Yeah.
And like I was saying, Joan Allen, The Upside of Anger. So I rewatched it. I can see why there wasn't a campaign for her really, and why it didn't work out. It came out so early.
Yeah.
There was nothing. It's not a role or a performance that Oscar voters tend to gravitate towards. It's very subtle. It's not like this. Like the most that she does in the movie is that she's an alcoholic, but it's not those like crazy ridiculous movies where like.
Is it pre or post Cheekbones?
this is pre.
It's pre. Okay. Okay.
Very.
Then yeah, probably yeah. Yeah.
And Kevin Costner was getting a lot of attention for that.
Right.
Movie, right? Yeah. They were kind of focusing a lot of attention on him.
Yeah, and then my winner that year would have been Claire Danes for Shop Girl, which is a movie that not many people even remember. So
I don't remember that.
It's a good movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
I like that. That's a good choice.
Yeah, but Juliet all the way. Yeah.
all the way.
Yeah.
and we forgot to mention in lead actor because I remember James isn't here, but he did want us to talk about Breakfast on Pluto.
Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy. I was gonna rewatch it and I started it and after 10 minutes I had to turn it off. So that's all I'm gonna say.
gay/queer face.
That's fine.
Well, we talked about it.
Jay, you can come defend the movie when you're here next time.
We brought it up.
Any other contenders in lead actress?
Jennifer Garner in Elektra.
That gets brought up a lot.
This is a really good year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was good. No,
Yeah, for leading ladies, it's not.
yeah, after
I mean,
Koryanka Kilcher in The New World.
Oh,
Yes.
oh fuck, that's right.
for supporting or for lead?
For lead.
Lead.
For lead. Okay, yeah, she was
Yeah.
amazing.
She was incredible.
Yeah. Oh goodness. Wow.
Yeah,
Still a lousy year.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I love her. in
All
that
right,
one.
director.
Director and picture.
Woo!
Which went 5 for 5.
Also, wait. Ellen Page. Hard Candy.
Oh, for
Hard Candy.
That was 2006.
Liar.
Oh,
what was the movie? I forget. What's it
Yeah.
called?
Hard Candy.
I did.
Hard Candy.
Hard Candy.
Jesus Christ. I'm trying to like.
It's 2006 because she's the only actress that beat Helen Mirren during her award sweep that year at Austin Film Critics Awards.
Oh,
Look it up.
All right.
can't wait to talk about how
When I don't do
Helen Mirren's performance really did not deserve any of that. But yeah.
Next
we'll get
episode.
to that.
You're not going to be on the podcast next time. That's it.
All right. If we're gonna go to director and picture, I'm gonna need a drink and I'll have to
You know-
come back.
You know what, Eric? I'm right with you. I'm going to grab another beer.
There you go.
We're going to take a pause right here.
Cheers, guys.
And we're back with drinks. So,
Cheers.
we're going to need it.
Whatever people need to get through this moment. Pain.
It was great to see Ang Lee win and to... I still remember the look on his face when he lost for Crouching Tiger, and I felt so bad for him. So it was nice to see him win Best Director, and it was a foregone conclusion, and it was a great night up to that point.
Well, yeah. I mean, he had DGA and BAFTA and Golden Globe and the lion's share of critics. I mean, everything. There was nothing that was going to derail that.
And really, like,
Well-
there wasn't really anyone in second.
No.
Strong second. Like, everyone was just like, they're all going to lose to Ang Lee. So,
I mean, I'm going to assume that Crash was in second because
I think that's realistic. Sure.
Or Capote?
see, I would have said George Clooney was in second.
I was thinking Clooney or Spielberg or yeah,
Mm.
but yeah. I mean,
Yeah, but not if it not that would mean that it would be. I mean, sort of like by itself, and so you have to use
Right.
a little bit of
right.
No.
Well,
At the
well,
time, I thought
right.
Clooney was in second.
Yeah, but
Now I know it's
the
not.
Academy has a history of loving these actor turned directors, so that's why I was thinking maybe he could be in second.
I mean, I love Good Night and Good Luck, so that would have
yeah.
been my
And
It's
It
a really,
was-
it's a really good movie. Yeah,
which
It
we'll
is.
never know, but
I don't really think the merits are particularly with the direction. I think the cinematography does a lot of the heavy lifting, and also David Strathairn is kind of like, what really
It
sells
bugged
it.
me that Good Night and Good Luck went home empty-handed because cinematography could have been an easy win,
Mhm.
but they gave it to Memoirs of a Geisha, and whatever. I think its win was supporting actor, but it wasn't for the movie.
after like
It's-
shitting on
yeah.
Memoirs of a Geisha everywhere else, though.
Well, I mean, there's years where cinematography goes to like the lensing aspect, and then there's years where it actually goes to cinematography.
Mhm.
And I think people aren't really always able to tell the difference. So yes, Members of a Geisha has really nice colors in it. That's
What is called not best cinematography, but most cinematography.
Right.
best use of filters. I don't know. I don't know what to call it.
It's
Yeah.
basically like a 2-hour Instagram post. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Ang Lee was the first Asian director to win in this category, not the last.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He was the first and the second.
And the second,
First and second, yeah.
Just a second.
both without a Best Picture win, which is crazy.
Mhm.
Well, the second time, I don't know what happened. Federal category, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a fun year to talk about.
Oh yeah,
This one was very much like expected, I think. Yeah.
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 So
I don't think he was banking on winning for Life of Pi. No. Yeah.
the unfortunate part, though, is that Brokeback Mountain did not win Best Picture, despite the fact that it won almost everything leading up to this award. And
I
it
have
is,
opinions about this.
it's
Yeah.
very upsetting for, you know, as someone who, like, again, Gangs of New York, Good Night and Good Luck was my favorite movie that year. But I really liked Brokeback. I thought, you know, based on statistics, and at the time, that's what we were holding on to the most. It did not make logical sense for Brokeback to lose, except that editing nomination that it did not receive, which at the time didn't seem like it meant anything.
But
And
it did.
clearly, it didn't matter
In the,
as much as other components of the movie.
exactly. I don't think the editing snub was why it lost. Yeah.
Right.
I think for me, what hurts the most is that it lost to Crash, but
Yes.
that would have hurt like the same had Capote like been the front runner to lose to Crash, for example.
Yeah.
I will say that I would have not voted for Brokeback Mountain for picture. But that if the choice was between those two, then obviously. And that I'm very happy that the first queer film to win the Best Picture Oscar was Moonlight. I think that feels a lot more right to me.
Historical.
Yes, and it's actually it's probably the best Picture winner of all time, arguably. I don't know. So yeah, I think it all turned out for the best. It did feel like a big slight back in 2005 when this happened, especially because it ended up losing to like a movie that I think most people today would be embarrassed to say that they voted for, probably. And it was hard to sort of like not take it as just this is sort of like the homophobic vote, but the reality is that a lot of people like Crash, and that it started sort of like peaking a month and a half before the ceremony, and I think it was in the back of all of our sort of minds that it could happen, or that at least it wasn't second. So yeah.
Yeah. I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, no, I think the better film lost and the worst film won, and
Yeah.
that was just my personal opinion. I don't know about you guys. I saw it way before the Oscars. I didn't see it in the theater. I think it came out in March, and then I think I saw it when it came out on home video. And I know it was, for some reason, I remember it being kind of a small film that came out, but people, I think it did well with the critics. I think people liked it. And I remember seeing it, and I said, "God, that was terrible." I mean, I don't get it. What this was really a bad film. And so I saw it again months before the Oscars. So, and then for it to actually win was pretty. Again, like I said, yeah, Brokeback Mountain was the best film of the year in my opinion, but it lost to a really bad film.
That's really what stings, yeah.
I mean, like I said, if it lost to Good Night and Good Luck or Capote,
Oh yeah,
it would,
I would've been-
it would have been fun. I was like, yeah, okay. At least it didn't lose to that terrible Crash film. But I just
It still would have been bad because the reasons would still be the same.
the reasons would be the same, but at least there would have been a little bit of like, okay, at least this movie was good. That one.
Capote was also a queer movie though, in certain respects. So I mean, I feel like I think Brokeback losing to like Capote would have weaken that sort of like angle of, oh, people that didn't vote for this didn't want to vote for the gay movie. But none of these movies should have lost to Crash. Crash should not have been nominated.
Right.
Crash should have been nominated for the Razzies.
Right, exactly. Well, and I think also the thing is that I think that we see lately is there's the industry and critics, you know, and
There's a huge split.
where Brokeback Mountain took all the industry awards and also took most of the critic awards. I know I didn't win National Board of Review or National Society, but it won, you know, the lion's share of all the critics and also the industry awards, producers, director, and writers guild, which is usually indicative of the industry likes that. Phil, sorry?
Yeah.
But not actors.
Not actors.
Well, there you go. That was the other thing but that kind of made sense because it was such a small ensemble, and Crash there was a lot of people in that movie. That made sense. I mean, even though it was a terribly acted film,
right,
on paper that made sense. You know, the bigger the more. Sorry?
As we know, Lionsgate sent out
all the screeners, right,
to every single member at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
They were shrewd. They were so smart because this was a movie that premiered at Toronto the year before and then came out in March. It made a decent amount of money. It was like $50 million.
$50 million, yeah.
But at the time was just sort of like an afterthought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until it wasn't. But I think one thing that, as much as we talk about how much we don't like Crash and that it is a bad movie, we have to be honest and recognize that it was not a poorly reviewed movie. It had largely really good reviews, and its ratings are fine. They are more than enough to justify any type of Academy versus critics like infighting or.
No, it made a lot of top 10, and it was Roger Ebert's number one. Yeah.
I didn't want to talk about that.
God bless.
Rest in peace.
But I mean, like he had a lot of sway at that.
Oh no, he had a
point in his
fucking
career. He
hard
got
on for
he's
this
an Oscar.
No, he had a fucking boner for this film. I remember him just salivating.
But like, being a stats person that I was at the time, it didn't get a Golden Globe nomination for Best Drama.
Right.
Yeah.
So winning the ensemble award at SAG, like, it makes sense. It's a big ensemble movie. But everyone kept pinning that as like, this is the reason why it's going to win. And it's like, we've seen so many films win ensemble and not make a dent into the Best Picture race.
Yeah.
I think what also helped it, which I think people tend to forget, is that this was a calendar year where we had the Winter Olympics in the middle of the award season, which paused everything. And so it winning ensemble and allowing people to actually watch it and, you know, as part of it, that part I can see that argument. But to pin it just on it winning ensemble, and that's going to translate to a Best Picture win, it didn't happen for Sideways. So,
well, there is no one single thing. There's the SAG win. There's Brokeback's editing snub. There is the constant and nonstop, I'm not going to watch this movie from old Oscar voters. There was constant and nonstop parodies of Brokeback Mountain on every single show and comedy act and everything over and over and over and over again.
Including the opening of the Oscars.
Yeah, until it became the butt of the joke. I mean,
no pun intended.
Yeah, because that was the cornerstone of the jokes was the sex scene in the tent. Most of the time. And that turned it into a joke very, very quickly and very easily, and everybody fell back on very comfortable and familiar homophobic jokes and tropes.
It is. I think it's a combination. It has to be a combination of both. There was definitely a contingent of voters that were like, we're not going to watch or acknowledge the gay movie. But I also feel as though, like, from the perspective of especially white older voters, Crash felt like an important movie about racism.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, it did.
Well, it was all post 9/11 too, so everybody was feeling this.
Yeah.
You know, because Crash was this, you know, created, you know, it was post 9/11 microcosm of LA racial tension, where if somebody doesn't look like you, they're a threat. So I think there was that whole between 9/11 and creating this film. I think that had to do with it. But Erik, I think to your point about the comedy bits and the making fun of it, I do think that did hurt its credibility as a film, and kind of like you said, it became kind of a joke. So no, I don't think about as much, but I totally agree with you in that respect, as kind of thinking about it. Yeah, that's right. People did kind of joke about this film, and then it wasn't taking it serious as a cinematic, great film.
Yeah, it just chipped away.
Right.
Yeah,
No.
it's sort of like
I think
straight guys trying to sort of like compete
justify.
and contend
Right.
with it. Sort of like they're being uncomfortable with it and kind of like, yeah,
Because the
absorbing it
girlfriends
that
wanted,
way.
because they didn't
But
want to see
then-
it. The girlfriends wanted to see it. Right. And I
Yeah.
saw a lot. It's funny now that you mentioned that. I remember that at work, a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, it was a lot of these guys at work were like, oh yeah, my girlfriend dragged me to go see that." It was a lot of that.
Why do we even have straight guys? Why do they exist? Do we?
I'm sorry, I exist. So.
Sorry, Rob.
What?
This is like Tu Wong Fu when they're having like the table conversation. We're just gonna ship all the straight men out to an island somewhere, and a couple of them
Hey, can I be an exception?
Rob, you can
Right.
get the fuck out of here.
If I be, come on, inclusiveness.
You'll be our token straight guy. How about that?
What's that?
You'll be our token straight guy.
All right, I'll wear the badge.
It really bothers me and this year particularly, because the reasons why people were refusing to watch it are so gross and so homophobic. But it really bothers me every year when they post the anonymous Oscar voter interviews and they say, well, I didn't see the other movies, so this is my favorite. Like, I feel like if you're given the privilege of voting, I know it's not possible to see every single thing, but you can go out of your way to see the 10 Best Picture nominees maximum. I mean, the rest of us see them and we're not even voting.
Right.
So I think it's your responsibility to sign some kind of affidavit that says, I saw all of the 10 movies in this category, 9, 8, however many are nominated in this category.
There should be some kind of clause where you don't get to vote on categories where you are not able to watch all of the contenders.
That's what the Tonys does. They actually, you have to log your attendance to every show, and then if you don't have attendance to that particular show, when your ballot's generated, that category just doesn't show up on your ballot.
Well, that's how it should be.
That seems like that would be possible. A lot of that stuff is digital anyway, so they would be able to record that you logged in and saw it. So.
Yeah,
and
then
then
you watch the screener.
They can now, for sure.
Yeah.
Every studio that sends out a screener, they know when you have watched that screener.
Mhm.
I mean, if you're a normal person, not an Oscar voter, and you have a moral or philosophical problem with not watching a movie, that I can't do anything about that. But if you're an Oscar voter, especially in Best Picture, you should be forced to watch everything. And
at a bare minimum, I mean, you cannot account for people voting for their best friends. You cannot account for people letting someone else vote on their behalf, whatever. But I mean, at a bare minimum, just showing that you actually made the effort to watch everything that's in contention, that really should be, just a minimum qualification.
Sam Jackson let his maid vote for him. So
Shouldn't be in a.
Sam Jackson let his maid vote for him.
Yeah, you hear about that all the time.
Yeah.
But you should have.
There's no system that can guarantee
There's
that
no way to
happen.
prevent
it. No.
There's no way to prevent that.
There
Right.
isn't. To your point, Rachel, I think some of the people that could be really against watching something, once they see it, it could be the thing that, ticks, that changes. Because it happens all the time, where if you don't allow yourself the experience of something, you can always keep it at arm's distance all the time.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. Yeah.
But once it's there, you might maybe have a different point of view.
I just remember when the Moonlight year, when Jimmy Kimmel made that joke about Moonlight and the hand job scene, and then he kind of paused and he said, "You guys didn't see it, did you?"
I don't want to talk about Jimmy Kimmel.
No reaction.
No, but I'm just saying, he just kind of like pulled it all to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. It still happens. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That it's still happening. That like, oh God, I don't want to see that.
All right. Any last final thoughts about this Best Picture lineup? Oh, Topher also sent me a message and saying that Munich was a very good film that was ruined by a stupid sex scene, which I agreed with him. I don't know if any of you remember that at the very end.
Right, when they were showing.
We should talk about what was 6 to 10.
Yes. So
I think Walk the Line was 6.
I do want to say one thing,
Yes.
because I've been trying to be very jovial about this, because I was not in a previous podcast thing about this year before, because I mean, as any of us know in our group here, we were in LA together.
yes.
Watching the Oscars, and we had set out the food for each nominee. So we had Crash was like yellow, white, brown, and black Jelly Bellies, all in separate containers, and Brokeback was a can of beans and something else. I have pictures of everything, but I'm forgetting it. And, you know, Capote was like a martini and a pack of cigarettes and all of these things. And it was like the first real get together that we had all had together from our Gold Derby days, and, you know, being from around the country together. And it was happening, the show was happening. And even though we could kind of see what was possible, the moment that it happened, that Jack Nicholson announced Crash, and did it in the way that I think all of us would have done it, which was in a voice of surprise,
Disbelief. Yeah.
disbelief. The room was really, really quiet. There's a picture of us
Yeah.
from literally that moment
Mm-hmm.
that really describes and defines it to an annoying degree. But my thing was that all of us had really, I mean, anyone that's gay and watches the Oscars, which is every respectable gay.
95% of the viewing audience.
Yeah, no, and exactly that. Regardless of what age you were waiting for this moment, and this moment was a big, big moment. And it has been 15 years, and I cannot even talk about it without being really, really emotional. Like really, really emotional.
So,
Because
Eric,
it meant so much. What it was going to mean, what the potential was, what it was going to mean was so much, and we didn't get it, and it was it was nothing less than devastating,
Mm-hmm.
because it was justifying so much like hatred and abuse and ridicule and everything that in any of us had ever taken, and for any like new fun Oscar watcher, they weren't gonna get that moment.
Mhm.
and I will never. It was the thing that broke me. It was absolutely the thing that broke me. From my love of the Oscars and everything that it was. I mean, I watched it since I was a child with my mother, and it was like the most fun thing in the world. But it broke me in a way that things that aren't directly related or impacting me in my life ever possibly could. And it took 15 years for that to change. And I agree with Cesco. I think Moonlight is the best picture winner ever, and it's sad that it took 15 years to get there. But I can never think about this year. I can never think about anything regarding this without so much sadness. That night with all of us at the house was, in one way, I'm really glad that we were all together because it was so sad.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to experience it together in a weird way, and instead of being in this like separate universe, but fuck.
Because it was more than just a movie losing Best Picture. I mean, that was a big part of it, but it was all the things that you were talking about. This could have been a historic event that just ended up just not happening. And I understand kind of not being gay, but having a lot of gay friends and knowing how much that meant to them and how much they loved that film and thought that, wow, there's actually a film that, that's out there and it's commercial and it's doing well. But it was more than just, yes, this film lost Best Picture. It was a lot more, and a lot. I know I had some friends, and I think my friend Brian, you remember him? He came to your 40th birthday.
Yes.
I called him the minute it lost because he was living in New York, and he was having this big party, and I called him, and he was probably very, and I could hear the crash speeches in the background, and I said, "Can you fucking believe it?" And he said, we had the discussion, and he said the same thing that I'm saying to you was like, Rob, it's not just that this movie lost Best Picture. Yeah, it's bigger than this, And so, in my heart, and again, I felt terrible, from that respect too, and just, it was bigger than just a movie losing Best Picture. I think it was just the whole cultural shift and all that. So, I hear you, and it was bigger than that.
Yeah.
It was definitely no, and like you said, I think being there together really made it like, well, like it would have been really hard to absorb that alone, and I think that this is one of the things I'm been really happy about us being in each other's lives for so long is that prior to being together on the boards, on anything after that, it was just this like, I like this thing and no one else can talk to me about liking this thing, and like not understanding why it's crazy that fucking Lauren Bacall lost. And so we've built such a strong community that I think that's the only positive about this loss, is that it made us really stronger as a community of awards fans and film nerds, that we're just like, we were there for each other, and even in the worst possible way. So
yeah. And then also to Eric's point a little bit about the Oscars, and that personally kind of did it for me is, obviously I'm a lot older than all of you guys are. My first Oscar that I watched from beginning to end was the 1970, 72, 73, whatever the year The Godfather won. That was the year that I actually was able to stay up and watch the entire from beginning to end. And I was and I've never missed an Oscar before. Highly invested, emotional, all that stuff. And for me, after that loss, I don't really give a shit about the Oscars in that respect of like going, oh, the best has to win. It's more of just like, I enjoy it. they're fun to watch, but I don't take it as seriously. And that was kind of a hard thing for me to kind of get over. And I don't know about you guys, but you're just like so invested. You want to see all the movies and your favorites. And for me, it was like, God, it's really, and people who I'm sure you have friends that go like, oh, I don't watch that shit, or, we all have those
No, I
friends that
don't.
what's that?
No, I don't.
You don't, right? So they don't get why you are so like love award shows and like watch all of them. And to me, it was one of those things that was just such a like, God, are they right? Is this all bullshit? So that was for me was the thing that I kind of, from a personal standpoint, kind of hurt me with that loss. But there's assumptions, like you said, Moonlight winning and some other, categories.
I mean, it's not like they don't make shitty decisions, and they had before that too.
Right.
It didn't feel so personal.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to see whether it was your favorite film of the year or not, that it lost because a group, or at least partially because a group of people were very vocal about
Well, they boycotted it.
about
That's what
not
happened.
seeing it because they were disgusted by it.
And now they're dead, so fuck them.
Tony Curtis and
And
Ernest Borgnine, right?
Ernest Borgnine.
We've seen plenty of upsets before. We will continue to see plenty of upsets in Best Picture. But you don't usually see an upset that happens because a bunch of people are saying,
Right.
this movie disgusts me and I'm not watching it.
Yeah. I mean, I tried to like justify the whole thing, like, well, it's in good company. It's with Bonnie and Clyde and The Graduate and Pulp Fiction, these great movies that will be remembered for decades. So I remember I was trying to justify that, like, okay, at least it's, yeah.
Trust me, as someone who's probably going to skip the 2018 podcast, the good company argument does not help at all. It does not help at all.
Hey.
Yeah. Oh.
Guys, I gotta try, man.
I know.
Give a guy a break.
But the other thing is that what I think what you're pointing at is also like the recognition. Like I was saying earlier, that Transamerica is a movie that no one thinks about anymore, even though it's an Oscar-nominated film, 2 nominations that year. But there's so many movies that don't get recognized that either are lost. Like I said, The White Countess, no one knows that movie exists. Or there's movies that are even more beloved, even though it didn't get nominated for anything, One of my favorite movies of this year is The Best of Youth, which was not a movie that was in any real, like, it was a 6-hour long movie, but it's one of my favorites, and it's
Right.
one that, I really like. But so it's like, it's tough to see when films don't get recognized, and when films do get recognized, and then it's like swiped away from them at the last minute, it sucks even more.
I love that.
Or performances.
Best of Youth is a great movie.
I agree.
All right, so 6 through 10.
Oh, all right. Yes.
Oh,
So we said Walk the Line was probably 6, right?
It's actually pretty easy. This list is pretty easy.
history of violence.
I mean, Memoirs of a Geisha.
I think Memoirs of a Geisha was in the top 10.
Obviously.
History of violence.
I don't think History of Violence was in top 10.
Really?
No.
No. I think
I dispute you.
I think
disagree.
now it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense, but at the time, King Kong was in the top 10, right?
Oh,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
really?
Yes.
Yeah?
Because I
Yeah.
keep
Hmm.
seeing like History of Violence was like second place in all critic.
But it didn't really translate to anything else, though.
Yeah. I'm
One
with-
acting nomination and a screenplay. That was it. Acting.
Yeah,
William Hurt in the screenplay.
that's all I got. Yeah.
I'm still standing by it. What
I-
about Matt's
I-
point?
Think Cinderella
Constant
Man
Guard-
might have
Constant-
snuck in there.
Constant Gardner.
I think Constant Guard would have been,
Just
I-
about.
like 10.
Because that
Yeah.
got
Ish.
that led BAFTA and it was nominated for a
Right.
Golden Globe, which
Yeah.
Crash was not.
It should be in there.
My pick for what I think was in 10th was March of the Penguins. The documentary.
Oh,
Okay.
At some point, there's going to be documentaries that sneak into that top 10. So
After this year, when they have a solid 10 again,
yes,
maybe. Yes.
Maybe. Hustle and Flow.
Yes.
with that SAG nomination, like
Yeah, with the SAG ensemble nomination, I think so.
What about
top 10?
Match Point?
Match Point, like
It's got the Woody. Usually, you can usually pull it out. Oh God, I'm just.
Ooh,
God, I'm sorry.
yikes.
Apologies.
are we
No,
ready?
wait, we have
Brian
have
Burns.
Walk the Line, Memoirs of a Geisha, King Kong, Hustle and Flow, Constant Gardener.
That would have been that. Yeah,
That seems right.
Sure.
I would switch out Hustle and Flow with History of Violence, but that's just me.
Possible. But I think
We'll never
But we'll
know.
never know.
Never know.
A year that stats said like, fuck you, anything could happen.
Right.
I'm looking at my list of like what other movies came out the year that I liked.
Electra.
Mysterious Skin was this year.
Constantine.
Oh,
Smith was this year.
Yeah, Eric, wasn't Mysterious Skin in your top 5?
Yeah, Mysterious.
Yeah.
We haven't even talked about Mysterious Skin
Hmm.
as the other new movie. And I just
Gregor Rocky, right?
I just rewatched that a couple of weeks ago. So I was doing this panel on queer movies, and we were talking about Gregor Rocky movies, and all of a sudden, to our surprise, Gregor Rocky and James Duvall appeared on the Zoom podcast, and it was incredible. It was amazing, and my heart was like exploding. And I rewatched Mysterious Skin again just a few days after that, which was so now a few weeks ago. And holy fuck, that movie is amazing. And yes, we are also talking about, non-gay, non-queer actors playing queer roles. But I don't care because it's really fucking good.
it's really good. Yeah.
It's so fucking good. Oh my God. Brady Corbett is absolutely incredible. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt as the James Duvall double in this. Amazing. I love that movie so much. So much.
Good movie. I agree.
So we've mentioned other movies. The other, even though the big documentary that year was March of the Penguins, my favorite that year, and I think for a lot of people, was also Grizzly Man.
Oh, yeah.
Grizzly Man is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
The movie's terrifying.
It is really terrifying, yeah.
Oh my God.
Just the way that it fetishizes the tape, I
Yeah.
cannot get over that. Yeah.
I also liked Murder Ball that year.
Oh, yes. Murder Ball's really good.
This was also the year of the Rent adaptation.
Let's not talk about that.
Talk about it. Oh,
I think we're done with that.
that was just
Are we ready for some trivia?
appalling.
Oh, and Flight Plan. Jodie Foster.
No.
That was
No.
no. Is that bad? I'm just going. I'm just looking at Red Eye. That was fun.
Red Eye is a fun, underrated thriller.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith
That's
were
it.
graduated with
Brick.
Angelina.
Brick should have been nominated for Best Original Screenplay.
Wasn't that 2006?
Well, it's saying 2005.
Brick is
Maybe it opened in Sundance or TIFF.
I've got it right between Hard Times and Batman Begins.
Brick is really good.
Brick's really good.
It is good.
But I need to double check and see what year.
All right. I just opened up 2005 films, so it's showing all of the.
Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Smith was 2005.
That's what I keep saying, but that's the year of the scandal.
War of the
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
That's the year. Shit. I love that movie so much.
It's terrible.
It's so good. Shut up.
It's terrible.
Which one? Oh no!
Mr. and
It's
Mrs. Smith.
it's good. It's a total. It's fun.
It was a fun time at the movies.
Oh, it's so fun.
Which we can't do now.
It was
so-
also a fun
Yeah,
time
these two,
shooting the movie.
the two most beautiful people in the world. It's just like, yeah, that was
Debatable,
Action.
but okay.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Debatable.
You know what I'm saying.
I wouldn't bone either. So.
Monster in Law was 2005.
Was it?
Which one?
Okay, so Monster-in-Law is a formative movie, and it's amazing. And
I love Monster in Law.
sorry, but
Return of Jane Fonda.
one of Jane's greatest performances.
I would not go that far.
Facts.
It's
But
a movie that I've
It
seen.
was, but she was good. That was her like first comeback, right?
Yeah.
I mean, first role in since she
It wasn't her
kind of
first comeback.
retired.
One of her.
Since she retired when
It was one of
she
her
Morning After was her first comeback.
I remember
Morning
some
After was right before her sort of hiatus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the sister.
No, Stanley and Iris was her last film before she went on.
Ooh.
No, I'm just
You're all
reporting the news.
just delaying because you don't want to play this hard trivia that I made for you
I-
guys.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Come on,
It's getting
motherfucker.
late.
Let's do it. I know those East Coasters.
Let's do it.
Okay,
right.
so on mine, it's going to be Rob first, then Eric, then Cesco, then Rachel.
Darn.
Darn is great.
All right,
All right, let's-
so Rob, first question. And it's the only question related to the ceremony.
Fuck you. I mean, okay.
This
Okay.
was the year that a respected director finally won his honorary Oscar. Who won?
Oh crap! And I looked that up and I didn't write it down. Robert Altman.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I rewatched his speech, and it is, if you haven't seen Robert Altman's speech, it's the reason why we should have honorary Oscars back at the actual telecast.
And also, it was great that Meryl Streep and Lily Tomlin did the introduction, and they were doing that kind of ad lib thing. That was really cool.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's a point for you. We move on to Erik. So this was another year where Best Picture and Best Director matched 5 for 5, but it was another picture director split. The last time that Best Picture and Best Director went 5 for 5, previous to this year, it also was a Best Picture, Best Director split. What were the two movies that won Best Picture and Best Director?
I'm too drunk.
I know that.
Shit. It should be so easy, but I've done zero homework on this.
Oh, I know it. I know it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fucking easy.
Oh, totally.
All right.
You're gonna be kicking your ass.
I am. But let me just like try. I'm just gonna pass it. I'm not. I'm gonna
right.
get fucking everything.
Cesco?
Can you repeat the whole thing?
Eric, what are you drinking? Is that a
So-
curiosity?
This was a year where the 5 Best Picture nominees matched the 5 Best Director nominees. The last
Okay.
time that happened, there was also a different film that won Best Picture and Best Director.
Okay. So we're
what
talking
were
about
those
some.
two films?
It happened after the ceremony.
Before.
Oh, before.
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 Five more seconds.
I have no idea.
You
I
gonna pass?
passed to Rob because Rob knows it.
I
Okay,
believe
Rob?
it. I believe it was 1981. Best Picture, Chariots of Fire. Best Director, Warren Beatty for Reds.
That is correct.
I would have never gone that back. Oh my god.
Jeez.
I was not gonna go that far back.
No.
1981
no.
was the last time it happened, where it matched 5 for 5,
And
and
then
it was
and
also
it's
split.
and it's split.
In the
Yeah.
split.
Yeah. The only other time after this that it was 5 for 5 was the Slumdog year, but that one actually matched the winners as well.
Holy shit.
All right. So now back to Erik.
Cool.
The best lead actor lineup at the Oscars matched 4 for 5 at the Spirit Awards. Joaquin Phoenix was not eligible, so who was the 5th nominee at the Spirit Awards? A person that was in the Oscar conversation, and we've mentioned the film already.
Viggo Mortensen, History of Violence.
That's incorrect. Cesco.
Fuck you. That's correct. It's a lie.
Fake news.
We mentioned the person.
We mentioned the film.
We mentioned the film.
Yes, we did not mention this person, but we mentioned his co-star.
We mentioned his co-star.
Yes.
Wait, what?
Specifically, you mentioned the co-star.
I did?
Ooh.
Is it Jeff Daniels?
In?
Squid and the Whale?
Correct.
Okay, yeah.
Wow.
All right, so now we're moving on to Rachel.
Good.
Yeah.
Go, Rachel.
Reese Witherspoon won lead actress for her portrayal of June Carter Cash in Walk the Line. In Academy history, 4 actresses have won for playing Grammy Award-winning singers, either competitive or honorary award winners.
Wait, what?
Hold on. Yeah.
Reese Witherspoon won for playing June Carter Cash, who is a Grammy Award winner. There are 3 other actresses that won for playing Grammy Award winners.
Actress says.
Actresses.
Up until this point?
Okay.
Or
In
total?
all history.
Okay.
Renee Zellweger.
There's only 3. What was that?
Ooh.
Rachel, what was that?
Renee Zellweger.
Renee Zellweger is 1. Rob, who's another one?
Sissy Spacek?
Sissy Spacek is another for playing Loretta Lynn.
Lynn?
And there's 1 left. Erik?
And we're only doing actresses.
Correct.
Yes. I got a point, you guys.
You did, and I'm really proud of you.
And I said it was either a competitive or an honorary Grammy.
Oh, did you, though?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think I know.
And it is, and I'll be nice. It's a recent winner within the last 10 years.
I hate my life. I'm just going to pass.
Cesco?
I was gonna say Edith Piaf did not win a Grammy at any point.
She has a honorary Grammy.
So does that count?
Yes.
Okay, Marion Cotillard.
Yep.
Oh,
It's
right.
the only other singer that I could think of.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I said winners because there are other actresses that were nominated but didn't win.
obviously.
Yeah.
So Bassett, and yeah, obviously.
Yeah. So only looking at winners. So.
Okay.
All right. So back to Rachel. And this one's also going to be another one that's going to go around.
Okay.
This year, George Clooney began his Oscar journey. He has a current total of 8 nominations and 2 wins. So we know the 2 that he was nominated for this year. There's 6 other nominations. What are they?
Best actor for The Descendants.
Correct. Rob.
Best adapted screenplay for The Ides of March.
Wow, that was the one I thought no one was going to get.
What the?
Pulled that out.
Eric.
Wait.
So
Oh.
he was
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
all the
So we're just looking the win.
all the
It's
different
nominated.
categories that he was nominated in.
Yes. All. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have 2. We have 4 more left.
Best Picture, Argo.
Yes. Cesco.
Best actor, Michael Clayton.
Correct. And back to Rachel.
Oh, I have to go again on this?
You want more points?
Was he also nominated for Best Picture for anything that he acted in? Like, is he nominated for Best Picture for Descendants?
That is incorrect.
Oh.
Rob.
Best original screenplay for Good Night and Good Luck.
That is correct.
But didn't we say we're not doing this here?
Oh, that's right. No, we're not counting this year. Yes, sorry.
Oh,
So
Wait,
not
we're
counting this year.
oh, not counting this year. Oh, sorry. Oh, so then he was
Ides of March.
nominated. He was nominated for Best Actor for Up in the Air.
Correct.
Fuck.
I forgot about
And
that.
that's it for that category.
Fuck.
All right. This is going to be the last one. So
Good.
I'm going to go on the easier side because there's a harder version of this question. So I'm going to do the easier version.
P.S. Thank you, Alfie, for doing these because I was a lazy cunt.
You're saying thank you now. Wait till I finish this question because it's your
God.
turn.
Great!
Oh God.
Rachel Weisz won Supporting Actress for The Constant Gardener. She is one of 8 actresses who won the Supporting Actress Oscar, but were nominated for Lead Actress at BAFTA.
Oh.
Who are the other 7 actresses?
Are we talking about winners or nominees?
Yeah.
So, Best Supporting Actress winners who were nominated at BAFTA in Lead. Because Rachel Weisz won the Oscar in Supporting, but was nominated in Lead at BAFTA.
Okay.
There's 7 other women.
I know one.
I'm going to pass because I'm
Okay.
now.
Cesco?
The pressure's too much.
Winners.
Wait,
Uh,
we BAFTA winners.
I didn't say BAFTA winners. They're Oscar winners that were nominated in Lead at BAFTA.
Viola Davis for Fences?
That is incorrect. Rachel.
Supporting actress winners. Yeah, pass. Rob said he knew one.
Oh no, and then I think I'm wrong, but I'm gonna guess it anyway. Jennifer Connelly.
That is incorrect.
Okay.
So sad.
So I
That
will
was
start
sad,
giving
right?
clues because I think you're going to need them.
Yep.
So the earliest one, I'll just start with years first. The earliest one was in 1969.
Fuck you.
Then it was 1978, 79, 82, 84, 97, and 2015.
What the fuck?
And they
97.
Alicia
won.
Vikander?
They won, but they won in
Just raise
supporting,
your
but were
hand. That'll
not.
be easiest. Cesco.
Well, Alicia Vikander?
Alicia Vikander in The Danish Girl. Yes.
For whatever reason, I thought she was nominated for Ex Machina at the BAFTA.
She was
Wait.
nominated for both.
Oh, oh! Okay.
Ah.
Lead for Danish Girl, supporting for X Men.
Okay.
Rachel.
Juliette Binoche.
That is incorrect.
Wait, didn't you say 96?
97.
Wait,
Rachel.
Kim Basinger.
Kim Basinger was nominated in Lead at BAFTA. What the hell?
How?
What?
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Stupid.
Okay, so
Rob.
you said 69.
Mm-hmm.
Goldie Hawn.
Yeah.
Whoa.
fucking fuck!
Wait, how is Kim Basinger lead in LA Confidential?
He's
I'm
not.
so
I don't know.
confused.
Because you said 97, and then I was like, no, he must mean 96. Like, he must mean Binoche. He must.
That's nope.
Is that?
That is weird.
And what was the last? What was the last? Did we get them all, or is there one more?
No. So we're looking for 78, 79, 82, and 84.
So 78. 78 was Maggie Smith.
Maggie Smith and California Suite.
That's
70
ridiculous.
79. Anybody know 79?
Rob?
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep and Kramer versus
Kramer
Kramer.
versus
Yes.
Kramer.
What was the last one?
We have 82 and 84
Jessica Lange
in Tootsie.
and 84.
84.
Peggy Ashcroft.
Peggy Ashcroft won lead actress at BAFTA and won supporting actress at the Oscars.
Well, I could see
Rob,
that.
You're gonna have the fucking trivia questions next time.
Yep, Rob.
I
killed
could
us.
see that though with
Hey,
Peggy.
Rob, can you do every acting winner, like in every category from memory?
Is Robin honorary gay or is he?
Listen,
So-
I used to tell everybody, if I had a dime for every time somebody thought I was gay, I would be a bazillionaire. So there you go. I am honorary. I have a
So-
great trivia question if you're done. See if anybody can get this one.
Sure.
Yes. So Rob, you won the game, so you're in charge of the next trivia questions, which will be for 2007. Topher's doing 2006.
I got points.
Sweet.
Yes.
Okay, so this year marked for the first time that Best Picture, Best Actress, Supporting Actor, Supporting Actress went to 6 different films.
Mhm.
When was the last time that happened?
Oh,
Ooh.
Ooh, that's a good question.
because
Wait, Crash, Brokeback, Capote,
Mhm.
Walk the Line, Syriana, and Casa Gardner. Yeah, 6 different movies.
it would have been 95 if it wasn't for Braveheart winning the top 2, because the 4 acting wins were all from different films.
Right.
All non-Best Picture nominees, I remember. But not that year.
But not that year.
All right.
So it had
91?
it has to be a Best Picture director split then.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Wait, Rachel, what did you say? You said this year.
What? I didn't say anything.
No, this year was no.
This year, Parasite
What?
won Picture and Director.
Picture and Director.
I
Yeah.
mean, this 2000.
2005.
Yeah.
2005.
Rob's asking
It
before
was
all-
6 different winners. It was
6 different
Crash,
winners.
Yes.
Brokeback, Capote, Walk the Line, Syriana.
Oh, before.
Constant Gardner. So before
Okay, sorry. Got it.
the last film that did that.
Sorry.
So,
Is it 91?
Nope.
Mm.
Is it Chariots
what's
of Fire?
Silence of the Lambs?
81?
Silence of the Lambs swept
No.
that
Okay,
Oh,
we're
so
okay,
is it
we're going
90?
way. Nope, it's in the
That was
50s.
Dances with Wolves.
Oh, it's in the
50,
50s.
50,
50s?
What?
50.
Oh,
What year was that?
19. Okay, everybody give up.
Yes.
It was 1957. Best Picture went to Around the World in 80 Days.
Oh.
Yul
Oh my
Brynner.
God, that's why.
Yul Brynner, King and I, Ingrid Bergman, Anastasia, Anthony Quinn, Lust for Life, Dorothy Malone, The Wild in the Wind, and George Stevens one directing for Place in the Sun. Okay, one more, because I thought maybe somebody was going to ask this. This was the first time all 4 best acting. When was the last time that all 4 acting winners were first-time nominees?
Ooh.
I forgot about that.
Okay.
So all 4
Shit.
winners were first-time nominees.
wait.
Eric was
The,
looking at that.
the first time that it's ever happened?
No, not ever, but the last time before then.
Before 2005.
Before 2005, when was the last time that all 4 acting winners were first-time nominees?
It's actually going to be pretty recent, I think.
Nope,
1990?
you'd be surprised.
Is it really?
Is it in the 50s?
60s.
Wait, what?
In the 60s.
The fucking God.
In the 60s? I'm looking at
Please edit that out and make it say like asshole instead.
I give up. I give up.
I don't know.
It was okay. It was 1961. Maximilian Schell, Sophia Loren, Rita Moreno, and George Chakiris.
Which are first outside of first time nominees too.
Right. So they were the first. They were the first. So 2005, all 4 acting winners were first-time nominees. The last time that happened was in 61.
Fuck me.
Sophia Loren could be nominated this year again.
It's not gonna happen, but okay.
I mean, it could. I don't know. I haven't watched the movie yet.
I
I
have.
haven't either.
I have.
I have.
30 minutes of screen time.
That's it?
That's what I heard. She
30 minutes. It would be the shortest ever.
Wow.
Put
Sorry.
her in supporting.
Doesn't matter.
Well, guys, one of the things I've been doing during quarantine is watching classic movies that I've never seen before.
I know. I did the
So-
I
same
haven't
thing.
watched Umberto D, so.
What have you seen? Just out of
I have
curiosity.
45 minutes left on Rebecca that I've been waiting for.
Ah,
I had to press pause to come do this because the time changed.
You had never seen that?
No,
Oh, Rebecca.
the
Oh my
original one
God.
I should mention, not the new Netflix.
okay.
one that they just
Alfred,
did.
the
Oh
Alfred
my
Hitchcock
God.
version.
I watched, what else did I watch? Terms of Endearment, speaking
Oh,
of Shirley
wow.
MacLaine.
Wow.
Young Frankenstein, Alien,
Wow.
original
Awesome.
Ghostbusters.
Class.
I've been hitting some of the.
I feel so
Yeah.
old right now.
I know. I finally saw Lenny, which I had never seen. Lenny, the
Great.
Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of those movies. I don't know why I never saw it, and I just saw it on. It was. I have Criterion, and the streaming thing, and I saw a little notice that it was like, oh shit, it's like expiring like on Monday. I've never seen this. Great movie. Great fucking movie.
Yes. I love that now.
And I'm watching this like, why did it take
Valerie
me?
Perrine.
Oh, she was great.
So good. She's so
great.
good.
So
Yeah.
good.
I
That was a
love that nomination.
that was a great acting year with Ellen Burstyn and Diane Carroll, and yeah,
Well, I mean, the 70s are actually the best year.
I fucking agree.
Decade,
Both
yeah.
music and movies, absolutely, absolutely.
That's when all the rules broke. So
Well, that's what introduced us to
all the
all
rules
the great. I mean, think about all the movies that came out in the 70s. They would never fucking be made now.
Oh yeah.
Could you imagine like Chinatown or Network or any of those great
But
movies?
that's the thing. All those movies never would have been made in the 60s because the rules broke. The 70s completely opened that up. Oh
Yep.
my.
Well, you had all those great directors like Lumet and Altman and Scorsese and yeah.
Lena Wertmiller, but okay, sure.
Well,
Yeah,
speaking
that was
of
one- that was one-
Scorsese, next podcast, next
Departed.
call is when he finally wins.
Woo! Okay, so I'm gonna do the trivia.
So Topher's doing 2006. You're doing
Oh.
2007.
2007. So that's the No Country.
Yep.
Ooh, I'm gonna start working on that now.
I love that I went from having to do 2 in a row to do
God.
Does anybody remember at the Academy who had the? I always call it the pimp spot, but during the memorial, who got the? Who do you remember? Who got the last? Who was the last person?
Of what year?
Of
The
this year,
2005. Who
I
was the last person?
didn't watch the in memoriam this year, but let me.
Oh shit.
Are you asking, or do you have that information?
No, I know, but I was just asking. Do you guys know who it was?
I don't know.
Comedian.
That's usually something I have like at the ready.
Comedian.
Homework,
Comedian.
but I don't know.
Yeah, I
Gary
never do
Lewis?
homework.
Black comedian.
Richard Pryor.
You got it.
Oh fuck! Seriously?
Yep.
Just guessing.
I'm looking at who was on the. Oh, this was Anne Bancroft and Shelley Winters.
Shelley Winters, Robert Wise, Teresa Wright.
I just
John
rewatched
Mills.
the holidays like 6 times this
Which
week.
one?
Home for the Holidays.
Oh, that's great. Holly Hunter.
That's like one of my all-time favorite.
Was that-
like
Was that the one that was directed by Jodie Foster, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
that was right before Robert Downey Jr. went into rehab.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Was
I
he-
rewatched it this week, and it was not the same movie I watched the first time.
Yeah.
It's a
like,
little,
I love when that happens.
it's a little dark. Yeah, if I remember correctly. It's
I
not-
love that
yeah.
movie so much.
No, it's great.
Love it.
Holly Hunter is in this new sitcom on NBC called Mr. Mayor
With Ted Danson.
with Ted Danson as the mayor. I think she's his wife.
God, Ted
I
Danson.
don't like anything that you just said, Rachel.
Yeah, it sounds. Yeah. What?
Yeah, there's a new show on NBC in January called Mr. Mayor, and
How is there a new show?
Is it a sitcom?
It's a
It's a-
sitcom.
it's a comedy, but it's not a live audience.
Oh, it's like
It
what is it
sounds
called?
really
Single
2020.
camera.
Yeah, single camera. I don't know how there's a new show. I don't know how they filmed it. I know nothing about it. Also, I feel like Ted Danson just finished The Good Place.
He
Yeah.
just like goes from one thing to good for
But
him.
yeah,
you know?
he's
Good for him.
Mayor.
Good for
I don't
him.
know anything about it other
You
than
gotta take care of Mary
watched the
Steenburgen.
And I was like,
Who
Oscar
fucking
winner,
was
Holly
great
Hunter,
in
Oscar
that.
winner. Yeah.
Who was great in the Christmas movie,
Season.
the lesbian Christmas movie. She was great.
She was great in it.
I loved her in that. Because she
should've
reminds me of
been the best
because she reminds me of
original
my
song
fucking
nominee last year.
because she reminds me of my fucking Trump-loving Republican mother-in-law. Yes, I have one.
I have it's fine because I have a Trump-loving brother.
Oh God, that's worse. All right, you win.
Oh yeah.
You win.
Oh, it's insane.
Oh my God,
Do you
that's
talk to him?
terrible.
I just saw him at Thanksgiving. What?
Did you have your Biden-Harris sticker and?
No, because he's the only one, and everybody else in the family is like hardcore left. We don't allow any. Look at me, like I'm talking like. I'm sorry. We don't allow any like political conversation. None whatsoever. None.
Oh yeah.
Because it always erupts into like
Bye-bye.
violence.
Oh God. Yeah, there's.
He's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, my mother-in-law is different. She's just like, well, I just don't want to talk.
He's
I don't want to.
insane.
Yeah.
All right, I think this is a good place.
Anyway.
Yeah, bye everybody.
Bye,
All right,
everyone.
guys. All right, everybody stay safe. Be good, and
Bye.
we'll see you the next.